Good morning, my dear friends and my dear students. Today, in this session, we are going to deal with a very interesting topic. The only thing that we never fed up of is eating. From our childhood till now, we are always enriched, always very delighted with the delicious food. And so many people have made us aware where it all comes from. It all comes from the cultivation, that is agriculture. So today in this session we are going to talk about agriculture in Tamil Nadu. At present, we might have come across so many issues that are that are against these farmers, this agriculture. So we should have some knowledge about this agriculture from our state, Tamil Nadu. So what are we going to learn in this session? The first one, we are going to touch with sectors of people, the people who are involved in agriculture. So we can talk about two types, that is landholders who hold land and have a labors under and cultivate. The second group sectors are landless laborers. They don't have land but they involve in cultivation. And when you see the types of cultivators, who are the people who cultivate it? There are two types, micro and small farmers. And what are those farmers mean? And the second topic what we are going to deal with that is a type of land usage. The whole land of Tamil Nadu is divided into various divisions. Among those divisions, in the total land, what are the different types of crops, what are the different types of cultivations are done. So that's what the second topic we are going to deal with. And the third one is the important source for agriculture is the water resource. So, how much in Tamil Nadu we are receiving water? We know it, we get water through the rain. So, for Tamil Nadu we have southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. How much Tamil Nadu gets rainfall in these monsoon? Is that enough? If it is not, what are the other types of irrigation, that is a conventional storing of water? How it is becoming a source of what is support of it for the agriculture. And if it is a conventional, that irrigations, how the irrigation, different types of irrigation helps us to cultivate, to grow these crops. And the last one, growth of the agriculture in various years and the yield of different productions, of all these crops. So these are the 6 topics which we are going to deal with in this session. Shall we proceed with the introduction? What is going to learn about? What are we going to understand? When we talk about most of the people in Tamil Nadu, they depend upon the agricultural activity. Not only now, from the beginning of independence. After 40 years of the independence, we find the dependence of farm means the people in agriculture. But now, and the time goes on, the situation is being changed. How? We can notice, and it has been noticed, a large number of farmers in Tamil Nadu has got reduced. When you see the census according to 2001, 49.3% out of the total population of workers were involved in agriculture. For all the workers, 49.3% are agriculture dependent labor or workers. But in the year 2011, the percentage has reduced to 42.1 within the 10 years. So when you see and talk about in 2001, it was around 49.3%. So 49.3%, whereas in 2011 it has reduced into 42.1%. So 42.1%. So you can see the differences of the reduction of the laborers, the reduction of the agriculture workers in these 10 years. In 2011, there were 3 crores 29 lakh workers in Tamil Nadu, of which, so it was in 2011, so in 2011, the workers are nearly 3 crores 29 lakh. So we can talk about 3 crore to 29 lakh, out of which 96 lakh were agricultural workers. So in which 96 lakhs were agriculture. The rest of the people were other laborers or workers. 55% of the women were involved in agriculture at this time, whereas nearly 1/3, that is 35.3% of the male population were involved in agriculture. So much of involvement was found earlier, but when we see in 2011 and afterwards, there is a reduction of agricultural laborers. Yes, my dear friends, that is the situation of our state, Tamil Nadu. So let's proceed to learn the first topic, the sectors of people. As I said already, the division of the agricultural laborers are divided into two. One is landhold laborers, another one is landless laborers. First one, the landholders. All the landholders do not have the same amount of the land. One has 1 hectare, another one has 10 hectares, another one holds 100 and plus more and more. So that's the situation. Many have very little and very few hold a large area of land. So that's what the first one, the landholders. The second sector of the people, landless labor. It is a major portion of the workers of agriculture or involved in agriculture activities are landless laborers. They don't hold land, but they go to work in others' land, farm. So they are the landless laborers. So when you see these, the cultivators, those we can talk about whether the landholders or landless laborers, they are called as the cultivators. So in 2010 to 2015, so according to 2010 to 15, when you talk about between these years, it was around 81,18,000 cultivator. So 18,000 cultivators were there, okay, in 2010 to 15. But afterwards, when you see in 15 to maybe 20, 15 to 16, yeah, 15 to 16, when you see within the year, within 1 year, we can see it has come to 79,38. So 79,38,000. So we can see the reduction of number of these cultivators? It is nearly 1,80,000. So when you see the calculation, it is nearly 1,80,000. The reduction of cultivators. Yes, my dear friends, there is so much of we can say destruction towards this agriculture. We have destroyed it. Okay, so if you see, if that is a cultivator situation, so what are the types of cultivators were there? So there are two types of cultivators, micro farmers and small farmers. These are the two types of cultivators. So what are who are called as the micro farmers? Micro farmers, they cultivate in area less than 1 hectare. 1 hectare or less than 1 hectare. And in Tamil Nadu, when you see, they are around 78% of the total cultivators. So these micro farmers are nearly about 78 of the total cultivators. So 78% of the total cultivators. The area cultivated by these micro farmers are just 36%. So when you say the micro farmers, they cultivate, they hold the land less than 1 hectare. They are nearly 78% when you calculate in the total cultivators, and these micro farmers hold the land, the area, only 36%. So if you proceed with the small farmers, they hold the land nearly 1 to 2 hectares of the land. So that's what we can talk about, 1 to 2 hectares of the land. They are around 14%. When you talked about the micro farmers, they are around 78% of the total. But here small farmers are 14% of cultivators. The land, the area cultivated by these small farmers are 26%. So these are the difference between micro farmers and small farmers. So they are the types of cultivators, and we saw the situation of cultivators between 2010 to 2016. So within 1 year, 15 to 16, we can see the reduction of cultivators. That means the number of marginal farmers have increased in India. The number of marginal farmers have increased in India. In contrast, opposite to it, the number of marginal farmers is decreasing in Tamil Nadu. This shows the farmers are doing other occupation. So when you see the reduction of 1,80,000 people of cultivators are lost in the agriculture activity, which means they are involved in various other activities or occupations or jobs. Let's move on to the second topic, the types of land usage. When you see the total area of Tamil Nadu, it is around 1,30,33,000 hectares of land. So in 1,30,33,000, we have so many divisions. For example, agriculture use and non-agricultural use land, forest areas, unusable land, barren land, fallow land, and grazing and cash crop land. So when you see agricultural usage is around, only mainly for the agricultural usage is 45, okay, nearly 45,44,000 hectares are mainly used for agriculture. Non-agricultural is nearly of 17%. Nearly of 17% of the land is used for it. The forest area, when you talk about the forest region, it is around 2,125 hectares of the land area comes under the forest area. The barren land, when you see the barren land is around 1/10 of the whole land is coming under. Another one is a fallow land. Fallow land is around 13%. So 13% comes under this fallow land. Another one is near the mountain region. In the slope we have a grazing land and the cash crops like a tea, coffee and various rubber estates. These are all coming under nearly 5 plus percentage. So more than 5% it is coming under this cultivation. So these are the land being used by various types of crops. So these are how we can talk about the first one, and we talk about in the types of land being used for various purposes. The size of the total cropping land in Tamil Nadu, as we saw, it is 45,44,000 hectares. And it is increase or the reduction of the land usage is determined by rainfall. Whether these particular hectares of land increases of cultivation, area is increased or decrease, it is due to the rainfall. So what is the determining factors of the area of cultivation is rainfall. So now we are going to proceed with the next topic. Before that, this area will be, the cultivation area will be more or less stable. Okay, neither decrease nor increase. It will be stable when there is a stable and reliable water resource. So as we saw already, it is determined to increase or decrease by the rainfall. If you want to keep it, if we want to keep this agricultural land, cultivatable land stable, it is dependent upon the resource of water. And when you see, according to the record, 2012 to 2013, out of the total cultivated land, nearly 72% is used for food crops and the remaining not food crops. So 72% was used according to the year 2012 to 13. It was used for agriculture, mainly food crops. 72% of the land is used for food crop and the rest of this for the non-food crops. Yes, my dear friends, let us proceed with the third topic, is the water resource. Very important and very interesting, means very simple to understand the concept of water resource for agriculture. As we know, we have two types of rivers. First one is perennial rivers. Another one is the conventional, or we can talk about seasonal rivers. So these are the two types. So what is the perennial rivers which we have in North India? Ganga, Brahmaputra, like we have Indus. So these are the rivers are called as perennial rivers because throughout the year there is a flow of water. Another one is the seasonal rivers. What is the seasonal river? They depend upon the rainfall. If there is a rain, there will be flow of water. And in the dry summer season, sometimes the rivers may dry off. There may not be water. So these are the two types. And when we talk about Tamil Nadu, in Tamil Nadu we don't have these types of perennial rivers. So we need to depend upon various other types of water resource. Yes, my dear friends, Tamil Nadu receives the required water from the northeast and southwest monsoon. And when you talk about southwest monsoon rains are very high in the catchment area of Kaveri river in Karnataka, and the dam gets filled, and in turn Kaveri river in Tamil Nadu we get water. And around the Kaveri river we can have a lot of cultivation depend upon this Kaveri river. When you talk about northeast monsoon, okay, which occurs between October to December, is a major source of water for Tamil Nadu because most of the rain, most of the water we receive is only from the northeast monsoon. The northeast monsoon rains are stored in various means like reservoirs, lakes, pond and wells for cultivation. So these are the major source of water. What are other than these? we don't have perennial river, but we have others, so we can depend upon the southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon, and even that we have a source of place where we can store the waters through various means. Now the conventional water bodies, what are the conventional water bodies? Like lakes, ponds, canals, they provide water for mainly agriculture in Tamil Nadu. So when you have the calculation of these conventional waters, okay, 2,239 canals run through Tamil Nadu, covering around 9,750 kilometers. And these canals provide water to 6.68 lakh hectares of land in Tamil Nadu. So 2,239 canals are running through Tamil Nadu in various areas, and they are covering around 9,750 kilometers. And these particular canals, they provide water for 6.68 lakh hectares. The second one, when you say, okay, nearly 7,985 small lakes and 33,142 large lakes are found in Tamil Nadu. In these, nearly 3.68 lakh hectares of the land obtain water from these lakes. 15 lakh open wells, and there are 3,54,000 bore wells are found or calculated in Tamil Nadu. These borewell irrigation, irrigation is supporting nearly 4.93 lakh hectares, and whereas the open well provide to 11.91 lakh hectares of land in our state of Tamil Nadu. So this is how these types of irrigation supporting to our agriculture. Yes, my dear friends, agriculture is in Tamil Nadu is depend mostly on groundwater, because we don't have perennial rivers, we don't have rain throughout the year, and we have to depend upon groundwater. So the usage of water for agriculture creates many hardship. We need to face a lot of problems when you talk about. So there would be no sufferings if the amount of water taken from the underground and the amount of water that goes into the underground during the rainy season are equal. So when you get rainfall, if you store the water in the ground level, the amount of water we take, it is not a matter at all. So it will balance itself. But the other cases, the storage of water is less. What we are doing today, we need to think about it. I am asking you to think deeply about it. The rainwater, what we receive, just we drain through the canals and ditches to the various places, mixed with the various dirty water goes around. Even in the villages, there is no proper storage of water. The government is making a lot of rules and regulations. Each and every house should have a water storage tank. If it is not, then they don't have a license to build the house. But how many of us are following this? So yes, my dear friends, if you are taking water out of the underground, whereas we store very less water, we cannot balance the situation. Okay, we are facing the problems now at present, so we do understand these particular matters. Okay, that's a major. So the contrary, as the amount of water taken increases, because the increase of more water, the groundwater goes down, resulting in the complete dryness or the change into unusable water. So this is the situation that we can see and face. The Union Groundwater Board of Tamil Nadu is constantly monitoring, looking into the matters, the level and the nature of groundwater. So according to them, from this we come to know the conclusion: Tamil Nadu agriculture is dependent upon groundwater. Our agriculture is dependent upon groundwater. Second one, it is very urgent and necessary for us to regulate the usage of underground water. And the third one, this is very important for sustainable farming. So these are the things we can come to the conclusion according to these various needs. We will proceed with the fourth one, irrigation and the crops types. Crops in Tamil Nadu. All cultivated crops can be classified as the food crops and non-food crops. So there is a two division, food crop and non-food crops. 57% of the total land, we talked about 1,30,33,000 of the land is cultivated. So among this, 57% of the total land under food grain cultivated is irrigated. So all of them are irrigated. So when you talk about these irrigation types, according on the food crops, according to 2014 and 15, according to the calculation of the census of 2014 and 15, food crops is around 59% and the non-food crops are 50% were irrigated. And the total area of the land cultivated was 59,94,000 hectares. Okay, so we can talk about is nearly about 59,94,000 of hectares are mainly of the total land cultivated, out of which 76% are for non-food crops, and paddy cultivation, paddy is nearly 30%. The main cultivation of Tamil Nadu is paddy, so it is nearly 30%, and other food crops are 12%. So it is it is paddy, it is other food crops. Here we can talk about non-food crops. So it comes under the non-food crops. It's like a cash crop, various other types of crops are coming under this. So this is what mainly the major cultivations. Okay, when you talk about other food crops, like we have the cultivation of millets, which is called as the dry crops, because with the less irrigation, less water, we can cultivate. So when you talk about the millets, they are low percent of area are cultivated. For example, cholam, it is called as sorghum, is cultivated nearly 7% of the land area, and kambu is another, it's a 1%, and the ragi is 1.7% is cultivated, and other millets occupy 6%. So when you talk about 6, 7, 8.8 and then plus 15 points. So it come around nearly. So all the other food crops like dry crops, everything comes under. So cholam is 7%, kambu is 1%, ragi is 1.7%, and other millets other than that is 6% of them are cultivated. The area cultivatable land changes every year, and we know it as a result of many factors such as rainfall, availability of water in the particular area, weather condition, and the market price. Based on this, there is a lot of cultivatable land is being changed. And the fifth one is the growth, the decadal growth in the agricultural production. The production in 2014 and 15 was 1,27,35,000 tons were cultivated. Paddy was nearly 80 lakh tons, that is 62%. Maize is 20%, corn 7%, ragi 3%, black gram 3%. So these are we can talk about production of various other crops. When you saw all these crops, the other food crops, they contribute a mere amount of the total food production in Tamil Nadu. The amount of production varies depending upon on the amount of land being cultivated, and the cultivation land depends upon rainwater. So it is a cycling type. So one, it depends upon another. The last one is the yield of production crop. The amount of production depends not only on the area but also on the production of crops. So when you see the production of the capacity of paddy, so first one we will talk about production of paddy. So in 2010 to 11, it was nearly 3039 kilogram per hectare, whereas in 2014 and 15 it has increased into 4429 kilogram per hectare. So there is a increase of the production. The production capacity of other crops. So we are going to see a list of it. That is next to paddy, that is maize stands second. So when you say the maize, okay, it is 8,824 kilogram per hectare. Corn is 2,093 kilogram per hectare. Another one, kambu, that is 3,077 kilograms per hectare. Ragi, 3,348 kilogram per hectare. Black gram, 645 kilogram per hectare. And this black gram is one of the largest cultivated pulses which is produced. And another one, the production of sugarcane on the groundnut were 107 tons, and that is 2,753 kilograms per hectare respectively. Yes, my dear friends, the productivity of crops continues to increase. For example, the productivity of paddy in the year 1965 to 66, it was around 1,409 kilogram, but afterwards 1975 to 76, it has increased to 2,029 kilogram, and in the year 1985 to 86, it has increased to 2,372 kilogram. It increased to 2,712 kilogram after a decade. So this census or record shows the increase of the productivity of paddy. The production was 4,429 kilograms in the year 2014-15. In the past 50 years, the productivity of paddy has increased more than 3 times today. The cultivatable land, then the production of paddy has increased more and more, because paddy is the major crop of Tamil Nadu. As we have come to the conclusion, in learning of this particular session, we find the contrast analysis. What is the contrast analysis? The productivity and the food production in Tamil Nadu continue to increase, but the area under food grains cultivation has reduced in the same time. The production continues to increase, the productivity is continue to increase, whereas the food grain cultivation has reduced into some period. Though there was a reduction in the area of production, there is a reduction, lot of reduction in the area of production, the total amount of the production has been maintained, and there is an increase of productivity. Yes, my dear friends, so we need to increase not only the productivity, but we need to increase and encourage the farmers, encourage the cultivatable land into agricultural land instead of making into various other uses. Thank you.